So what can Democrats do to stop the rightward slide of American policy? Let's talk about that in today's video. Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. I'm also a lawyer and an academic, and I'm here to help you stand up to the BS of the MAGA crowd. So since I was in college in the 1980s, I've been warning that Democrats needed to be more concerned about our courts. Finally, it seems we've gotten that message. Unfortunately, it's a little too late. The Supreme Court, with their activist 5-4 Republican majority, is taking a wrecking ball to American policy. It's likely going to take decades for America to recover from the damage that our Supreme Court is doing. But as a friend of mine once pointed out, it seems sometimes as if the Republicans keep moving things farther right, and then once the Democrats are elected, they don't really do anything about it. And I think she had a point there. I mean, to me, the classic case would have been when Barack Obama was president. He had a 60-vote filibuster-proof majority in the Senate. And granted, they did pass some very impressive healthcare legislation. I mean, passing Obamacare is probably one of the great accomplishments of American policymakers. Certainly that's the case in terms of the impact it's had on the daily lives of so many average Americans. It's part of the reason that the Republicans are so violently opposed to it and keep trying to get rid of it. But isn't that the point? That when Republicans come into office then, they try to undo what the Democrats do. While as the Democrats, we kind of take what the Republicans have done as the status quo and build from there. Well, in Michigan, we've decided to go another course. And for that, I think our governor, Gretchen Whitmer, combined with the new Democratic leadership in the House and the Senate here, deserve a lot of credit. I remember when John Engler was governor here, and he had a brief period where he had taken control of the legislature. The Democrats back then controlled the House. And during that time, he took this brief period to ram through highly partisan legislation that he favored. Some of the legislation was a direct attack on union rights. More recently, when the Republicans had control of the legislature and the governorship, they rammed through right-to-work legislation aimed at cutting the legs out from under the labor movement here. They did this without legislative hearings, and Governor Snyder signed it despite the fact that he had promised that it was not something he favored. So now in Michigan, after a historic 2022, the Democrats are back in control of all statewide offices and both legislative bodies in the state. So are we just going to sit here and assume that the status quo is the way it is and we can't do anything about it? Not according to Governor Whitmer. Instead, what the Democrats have done is for the first time in history, they have actually turned around and gotten rid of right-to-work legislation. Rather than sitting back and simply assuming the Republican actions as the status quo, they've said we're going to undo what they did and try to build back in the direction we want to go in. I mean, just imagine some of the things that Obama could have accomplished when he had that 60-vote majority in the Senate. Yes, he was able to get Obamacare passed, which is a great achievement. They got Dodd-Frank passed, which, well, there are arguments for and against that as to how it's been carried out. But why didn't they go after some of these partisan issues that are so desperately needed by our party? Why didn't they deal with electoral reform? Why didn't they deal with gerrymandering? Why didn't they empower labor unions? These are the kinds of things that Republicans have and would do when they have power. And instead, as Democrats, we sat back and didn't do any of that. Well, I hope that from now on, Democrats will watch what Gretchen Whitmer has been doing here in Michigan and take that approach and no longer believe that the actions taken by Republicans, harmful as they are to our country, are sacred cows that cannot be melted down. Well, if you want to see another video where I analyze who's winning the whole debt limit fight, check out this video over here. I'll see you then. In the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.